I have my friend, Mr. Jesus Verde from Austin, here nor there, one of my favorite bars. And today's
What a
excited
pleasure.
to get started. Thank you for joining us.
What a pleasure.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just have to say, I'm a big fan of this guy. We met some time ago.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
been a
know
couple
how,
years now.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
he invited me to judge a competition. We've been connected for some time.
yeah,
So I'm very happy to be here.
yeah. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so much
joining
for the
us.
invite. Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, of course. I know I did a brief introduction for you, but for the listeners who might not know you or viewers who might not know you, who are you? Where are
Yeah.
you from?
So
Yeah.
my name is Jesus
Okay.
Verde. I'm originally from Venezuela. I think I moved to the States like 10 years ago, but really formally, I got in the industry like maybe like 6 years ago, 7, 6 years ago, doing things with brands, doing like different type of things. But then while getting to the world of cocktails and spirits and all those things, I got into the whole rabbit hole. And I
Mm.
was like, there was a point in my life that I was like, I need to get behind the bar. So that's when I contacted the guys from here or there, very, very good friends at the moment. Thankfully, they were opening a new bar at the moment. It was called In Plain Sight.
Mm.
So I was able to join. So I would say that I've been formally in the industry, like behind the bar, like 3 years, 2 years and a half,
2.5.
maybe.
Okay.
And yeah, it's been a roller coaster. It's been very, very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you came from Venezuela, you said 10 years ago?
10 years ago, I
Okay.
lived 2 years in Boston. I
Okay.
came to the States to do my MBA.
Okay.
So I did my Master of Business Administration in Boston. Then I worked consultant. Then I moved to Miami chasing a girl.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Then I went to Miami. Didn't work out.
Mm.
So then I spent 2 years in Miami. Miami is expensive and
Mhm.
salaries are not that very good.
Yeah.
So then I had family in Austin. Job opportunities were very good. 6 years ago, the cost of living in Austin was very good.
Mhm.
Now it's spiked up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know how it is. But yeah, I've stayed in Austin for the last 6 years now.
Okay. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So you've been in bartending for 4 years. So before that, what were you doing specifically for brands?
Yeah. So when I got into the industry, I got I got into it because I was very curious. Curiosity got me into the industry. I had my first ever cocktail, an old fashioned.
Okay.
And then I remember back in the day, this was like maybe 8 years ago. I asked for an old fashioned just because maybe I saw it in a movie or maybe the guy next to me was ordering. I don't remember how, but I ordered an old fashioned. At the time, he gives me a drink and I'm like, what is this deliciousness that I'm drinking?
Yeah.
And he told me this is a bourbon drink. For those who don't know, in Venezuela, we don't drink bourbon. I mean, bourbon,
Mm.
we drink scotch, we drink scotch, rum, and beer. And then at the time, at least in Venezuela, bourbon, no, never. So I was like, what is bourbon? This is 8 years ago. I was like, what is bourbon? So the bartender explains to me, oh, corn, Bill Mash, whatever. I was like, man, I cannot be this ignorant. So I bought a book about whiskey and I started getting into it. And then I studied whiskey. Then it was, okay, now I know what whiskey is. What's gin? What's tequila? What's brandy? What's everything? And then that whole rabbit hole going through the spirits and cocktails made me start getting to know a lot about the category. That at some point pushed me to do some TV. Actually, a little bit before that, it started to do a lot of content on Instagram. I started publishing a little bit more about spirits because something that I found is that I found a lot of admiration for the people that produce these spirits, the
Mm.
people that are actually behind the bars and all of this. So I wanted to in some way give a focus to the people that produce, that work behind the bar. So my content on Instagram, I started doing that. So I
Mm.
started putting more videos, putting more posts about it. That got the attention of a producer in Miami that runs a TV show.
Okay.
So they had a little like a talk show, and every Friday they had this segment. It was called El Recreo, like the recess, like this like
Okay.
a happy hour time.
Yeah.
And they were like, Jesus, we're seeing what you're doing on Instagram. You're posting all these videos, educating people about the category, about spirits, about cocktail making. You're all and also at the time I was started giving cocktail classes because I was
Okay.
such an
Yeah.
and then they were like, can we interview you on the TV? I was like, oh, of course. So when that long story short, that became like a regular thing, like once or twice a month, every month. So then I started working with brands because then brands wanted me to bring their product to the TV because if I was making a margarita, let's say
Yeah.
Cazadores Alan, who is a very good
Yeah.
friend, would hey, can you
Yeah.
use Cazadores in your
Yeah.
margarita? Or then
Yeah.
if I was gonna make a whiskey tasting in live television, can you Pernod Ricard, Simon, can you use my portfolio? So that started me help me connect with a lot of brand ambassadors. helped me build my brand, my network actually with a lot of ambassadors. And that's how I kind of started in the industry, I would say,
Yeah.
working with brands, doing all these little things until my first bartending gig,
Mm.
which was in Formula One in Miami.
Okay, okay.
A very good friend, Gaston, he used to run Casa Florida. And then he invited me to bartend in Casa Florida, their pop up in Formula One.
Okay.
And after I did that bartending gig, I was like, I swear to God, Patrick, I was like, I need to get behind the bar. I
Yeah.
loved it so much that I need to get behind the bar. So that's when I started going with here
Okay,
and there.
awesome,
Yeah.
yeah, awesome, awesome.
That's a little bit of my background. How
Yeah.
I got into it.
What intrigued you about the bar side of it? Was it just the guest interaction? What sparked that,
Yeah.
I wanna be
I
behind the
think
bar?
it's a mix. It's a mix of things.
Mhm.
So before getting into the bar formally, I traveled the world a little bit trying to know what an experience at a 50 best bar was. So
Yeah.
I was before getting to the spirits and cocktail industry, I was a huge foodie. So I
Okay.
knew what a Michelin star experience was
Mhm.
like, but I didn't know what a best bar in the world experience was like.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I went to Paradiso, I went to all these
Mhm.
bars in Europe. That's when I actually understood that that the best bars in the world are not made by a cocktail or their spirits offering whatever. It's the interaction, it's the hospitality, it's the music, it's everything. So when I learned about that part of the industry of the hospitality part, I got very passionate about it. I was like, my family, we're Latino, we're Venezuelans,
Yeah.
and if you knew my mom and dad, which hopefully at some point you will, you come to my house and you won't leave my house. My mom will offer you at least a piece with bread and butter. You know,
Mm.
something like you won't you won't leave my house without having something. So that's
Yeah.
already hospitality. You
Yeah.
know, so that's a lot of the environment that I grew up with. So finding this industry where the main what actually makes the best of the best is actually hospitality.
Mhm.
That's what made me fall in love.
Yeah.
So I got very hooked on it. I identified a lot with it. And then it was the history about every spirit. When I was studying spirits, I found that when you study a spirit, you also study a lot about the culture of the country where they're made.
Yeah.
If you want to start, if we don't know tequila, you got to go to pulque,
Mm.
back in the day.
Yeah.
And that already takes you through the whole history of Mexico. If you study whiskey, then you see Ireland, and then Ireland, Scotland, and then the way when the Scottish started making better whiskey, and then the way the economy was hit. So it's actually so interesting when you study spirits, you study a lot about the culture and history about each country.
Yeah.
That really hooked me up.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was very,
So
very cool. Yeah.
so you've probably gone down a lot of rabbit holes in
A lot
spirits,
of
yeah.
rabbit holes. Then,
Yeah.
yeah, brandies, then
Right.
gin, then vodka. Vodka, it's
Yeah.
as some people say, as boring as it can be.
Mm.
There's a very cool marketing story behind it. So, yeah, each spirit has a very cool story. So
Yeah.
that got me hooked in.
Awesome. And so the first spirit you started getting into was brandy? So
I
it's
think,
or was it something else?
I think the first one. So whiskey got me into a rabbit hole just because in Venezuela, and some people won't know it, but
Mm.
actually Venezuela at some point in their history, maybe 80s, Venezuela was a rich country. And at some point in our history, we were I think, top three consumer scotch in the world.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
it was a rich country. We
Mm.
always appreciate
Mm.
what's imported
Mm.
more than what's actually,
Mm.
in house. And so I knew about whiskey, but then when I moved to the US, I started trying bourbon. It was a different type of whiskey for me. So whiskey was the first one that actually got me into a rabbit hole. And then I have to say tequila,
Tequila
just
did, okay.
because my experience in tequila in Venezuela was party, shoot it. It was like, oh, it was nasty. But then while living in the US, I had very good Mexican friends. They introduced me to the very good quality tequila. The one that you give sipping,
Mhm.
a besitos. That was my second rabbit hole, actually,
Okay.
agave. Yeah,
Okay, this is
first agave really
awesome.
hooked me up. Yeah.
What is your favorite spirit style
Now
nowadays?
it's
Yeah.
actually agave distillates and
Okay.
mezcal, raicillas,
Mm.
bacanoras,
Yeah.
interesting tequilas, Highland, Taona tequilas.
Mm.
Fuck, and I'm very specific because like when you get into the whole world of it, it's actually you can find what's actually the one for you, and it's very cool. I think agave is like people say like wine, and
Mm,
some way it is the variety, the way that there are effects, but it's so diverse, the flavors. We have agave in Venezuela, so
yeah.
it's that also kind of like brought me back to my roots when I went into the whole agave rabbit hole, and then now, and I'll tell you more maybe a little bit,
Yeah,
but now I'm getting into the Venezuelan agave. Which is very
that's
cool.
cool, awesome, okay, cool, I didn't know they were doing that out there, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Super
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
So I know you talked a little bit about hospitality and then how your mom and your family will leave with food and bread and food. And it's kind of interesting because my grandparents and my mom and my aunt and uncle will you welcome you with a soda or have you go home with a soda, and that was our form of
That's
hospitality.
so cool. That's
That's
beautiful.
yeah, it's cool, right?
Yeah,
And I think it's definitely something in our specific like Latin American Hispanic
yeah.
culture is that welcoming
And we
hospitality.
love hosting.
Mhm.
We love people coming to our house. Let
Yeah,
me show you a little bit.
yeah,
And even I come from very humble
mhm,
beginnings. And even if you come from very humble beginnings and
yeah,
as as little as you have, you want to share it.
yeah.
That's I think that's a very beautiful thing. I don't know if that's a Latino thing, if that's
Might be there's other cultures that do it, but I know
I'm
specifically,
sure,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's
yeah,
so yeah, like you, hospitality, I think in some way runs in our vein. We cannot let anyone come to our house and leave empty-handed
mhm,
or not having at least a glass of water. Like you'll offer them.
mhm,
But yeah, it's funny. I didn't know that was called hospitality. It was for me. It was just the way we are
mhm,
in our country. The way we. My dad, he loves cooking. He
mm,
loves making barbecues for people, and we were always full of people visiting our house. We would always have an extra things in case someone came.
yeah,
But yeah, that thing later I knew that was called hospitality.
yeah,
So when I put a name into it, and then while living in the US, I knew that this the service industry is also the hospitality
mm,
industry. I would make connections of all these different links, and that's like, yeah, this is where I really feel calm. This is like
yeah,
my fish in the water kind of
yeah,
stuff
for
for me.
sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Awesome, awesome. Let's talk a little bit about some trends because I know you're well traveled.
yeah.
So you've gone to all these other different bars. So what are you seeing? Yes, we can see. What are you seeing specifically? I like talking about Texas because that's where we're based at. What are you
Yes,
seeing in Texas? And then what are you seeing in the overall US market? And then what are you seeing outside of the market? Because I know you go to Mexico a lot too.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting question. So I just came from London from 2 weeks
Mhm.
ago. As you know, yeah, I like to travel a lot. I
Mhm.
like to
Mhm.
see what everyone is doing. I think we nurture from traveling. I would say trends that I'm seeing and things that really get me excited. Mexico City, Mexico for first, Mexico is a very interesting market and space for me just because of the flavors that they
Mhm.
have. I think Mexico has the potential to take over the world just because of the variety. They are also in a geographical position where they can harvest a lot of ingredients that any other part of the world can't.
Yeah.
So what
Mhm.
Mexico is doing, what they are discovering, the way they're processing ingredients is a very, very cool thing. And I think they're gonna keep influencing because they're already keep influencing the world. They're already doing it with agave.
Mhm.
I mean, you can see the agave trend in the world growing so much.
Mhm.
I was just talking with someone from Side Hustle Nomad. They were telling me, yeah, actually now people tequila kind of got into it with the pandemic. I think the pandemic pushed a lot of things. Pandemic was good and bad for different things, but the pandemic definitely pushed trends that were not there.
Mhm.
When we were talking at home during the pandemic, that made us explore a lot of flavors,
Yeah.
a lot of different things. Oh, now I can go to the bar, so now I have to make drinks at home.
Yeah.
A lot of our consumers, they educated themselves a lot
Mhm.
because they okay, I want to have a martini, but I don't know how to make a martini because I would always go to a bar to make them. Now I have
Yeah.
to learn how to make. So now they know about vermouth. They want to make a margarita. Okay, now they actually want to know what's the best tequila. So now I think pandemic is pushing a lot of new trends. So tequila definitely is capturing the world. Mezcal, of course, is going there. So when I told you that I was getting into the Venezuelan agave,
Yeah.
I got very interested, and I talked with the brands. I told them it's a very interesting moment because agave distillates are very much are fire right now that people want to know about them. Again, pandemic. pushed a button, which is a curiosity button for me.
Mm, mm,
It made them people more receptive to different flavors. I think agave is the biggest trend that I've actually been seeing around the world. When
mhm,
I'm traveling, people want to know a little bit more about it. I don't know if you've met my girlfriend Daniela
mhm.
Villasuso, and she is an agave. We met because she's an agave expert,
Yeah.
and now she used to travel with me when I was doing guests. Now I travel with her when she's doing educations of agave, and now I get to see it in every agave education that she does around the world.
Yeah.
She just did one in London, and the question that she got was very interesting because people are very familiar with wine, and now the fact that people are finding the similarities between wine and agave is very cool because it's making an spirit even more interesting.
Yes.
We have all of our grain spirits. We have
Mm,
all of our grains, our corn, which are, you just harvest, make them whatever. But
yeah.
then you find agave, and it has such a cool history and also heritage and also depth of flavor. And then when you compare it to wine, where you say, okay, a wine cellar, when you do wine, you get a harvest, you get a plant, you just remove the grapes, but the plant's still there.
Yep.
With agave, you have to kill the
Mhm,
plant,
kill it. Mhm,
make a new one. So people are like, now they're valuing more that effort. So that excites me
mhm.
as a trend because people are valuing more the labor that the people in the field are doing.
Yeah.
And talking again about my little part in the world, which Venezuela,
Yeah.
it's called cocuy. Cocuy is the agave species that we have. We didn't care
Okay.
about it. We
Okay.
didn't care about that
Okay.
for so long. My granddad, my uncle, they used to drink cocuy, but I was like, I'm gonna drink whiskey. I'm gonna drink rum. I'm
Mm,
gonna drink beer.
mm,
N- Now, actually, it was getting forgotten all the traditions and technique, but now it's getting rescued because now there's more appreciation for the culture. So
yeah.
I think, yeah. So to go back to your question, I think trends that I'm seeing around,
Yeah.
definitely agave, but not only tequila. Tequila is the biggest brand ambassador of Mexico because sometimes Daniela says there's people sometimes they know what tequila is, but they don't know where Mexico is.
Yeah.
But but now it's not only tequila, now it's mezcal. So
Mm,
so agave is a very interesting trend.
mm,
Cocktail wise,
mm.
though, cocktail wise, of course, we're seeing the clarification everywhere.
Yeah.
Everything
Everybody's yeah.
clarified.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything is first carbonated. Everything is a fast service.
Mm,
And I do like the whole fast service trend just because, again, I fell in love with the industry through hospitality.
mm.
Fast service gives us the time to spend more time with the customer. It actually gives you the opportunity or gives a bar the opportunity to actually highlight their ambience, their music, their scenery,
Yeah.
their bartenders actually being people persons. So yeah, that's a trend that I'm seeing. I went to Terry Elementary in London,
Mhm.
and one thing that I love, they have like Terry and they have Elementary,
Yeah.
and that part where they have that it's like it's all batch, it's all
Mm,
prep. Service is like, oh, you want a drink? 30 seconds, here it is.
yeah.
And you can keep talking with the bartender, you can get to know, he can give you a recommendation about the city. You're able to have a good time at the bar, but it's not more about the waiting. It's not more, you don't have to wait 10 minutes for a drink anymore.
Yeah.
So that's a trend that I've been seeing. I think it's a very cool one. There's
When
economy
you
of scale.
yeah.
And
One,
then you
two,
get into
three.
the super juice, you get
Yeah.
sustainability, you get into all that. So
Mm,
which sustainability, it's a big word,
mm.
but it also makes you save some money if you can do
Yeah.
it well. So
Yeah. For sure.
that's another very cool trend that I've been
Yeah. For sure.
seeing.
What about here in the U.S.? What have you seen?
The US, so for me, the
Mm,
US, it's been New York is for me, they are leaders. And I'm very excited to say that I say it with a lot of excitement just because for me, at some point, New York kind of stopped being the innovative city that it used to be, at least as a consumer when I used to visit bars. Now it's so hot again. Japanese, where a lot of influence from Japanese
mm,
culture. We have Takuma, we have Suneta, we have Sipangos, we have all these great bars led by amazing we have Masa from Katana, which is he has been doing. So Japanese bartending is showing us a very cool face of the cocktail world,
yeah.
and we're all very excited. I think we're
Mm,
into it. They're shaping a lot of the excitement of our industry in the US, or at least in New York. Um, I have favorite bar.
for sure.
I mean, They're
They're
just
always
so fun
great,
to
yeah.
speak.
They're good
DC,
people
man,
too.
DC is hot. DC is getting very, very hot. Service, yeah, Service Bar, Silver Leon. So I'm very happy. The US. So for me, top is New York. DC is doing a lot of very cool things. Austin, I mean Texas. We're in
Mm,
Texas. Uh, we in Austin were very, very happy with the amount of work of community that we've been created.
yeah,
Um, so here nor there, Roosevelt Room. Um, we have Water Trade. I don't know if you've been to Water
I've not
Trade.
been there
They're
yet,
doing amazing things. Prelude, which is led by my very good friend Dragan, very, very good.
yeah,
Nickel City with Travis Tower. Travis, he's very, very good friend, but we owe a lot to him, to Travis, to David Allen. David Allen and Travis, they were and Jessica Sanders for me, they open up the cocktail culture in our city,
yeah,
and they're still influencing. So I'm very, very happy that we still have them around and influence and do very cool things. Drink well. So
yeah,
yeah,
mhm,
Austin very cool. And then you have those pockets, of course, in California, in Denver, as we mentioned. So yeah, US is it. I love how we're making more noise as a country, but we're a big country. We should have been making more noise for the size that we are compared to Mexico and
mm,
Mexico City, which are making a huge noise and they're killing it.
yeah,
And I think their community is strong. I wish our community in the US was stronger. That's
mhm,
something. Miami industry is very strong. They're very, very. I was just with Loiver and with Andy from Cafe La Trova.
yeah,
We were talking. Their community is very, very strong. So we have these pockets of Miami being very strong. Maybe DC they're very strong. Austin, we're getting there. I would love US to be all
yeah,
let's all promote things and all keep working together.
yeah,
We work more with European, with Mexico, with other people outside of our country, and we should be collaborating more.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that as well. I think collaboration is really important for what we
it's
do
very
because
important. Yeah,
our industry and art is a trade, basically a trade job,
yeah,
and there's always mentor mentee kind
yeah.
of relationships that need to happen. And sharing knowledge is important. So,
And we have
mm,
so many legends here in the US.
mm,
But to be honest, I've been in the industry for not a lot, but
mm,
for some years, and there's so many of these legends that I still haven't met.
yeah,
Some of them they're just working in their own markets, and it's great.
yeah,
They're
they
making
stay in their
amazing things.
area.
But yeah, there's so many these legends that I haven't met. I would love to keep meeting them, but it's like
Yeah,
yeah. So what makes me think is that are they working in silos? Are they only working their market? How much they're share with the rest of the
right,
US? With Texas, with it's so yeah, hopefully more collaborations. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And definitely Tails is a good place for that.
Sales
Tails
is yeah,
this is a great place
yeah,
to meet people as well.
yeah.
What are you seeing in Texas? What kind of trends are you seeing in our area?
Texas, so to be honest, so Texas, I feel there's a big trend through the Latino community, the
Hmm.
Latino industry. We Texas, we have a lot of influence from Mexico, and I feel I've been living in Texas for 6 years, a little bit over 6 years now. I've I talk a lot to my customers, to our consumers that, and they're mostly are Mexican Americans. A lot of them they don't even speak Spanish because they were like, oh, you know what? Like my mom and dad, they didn't teach me Spanish because they were like, back in the day, it was like little, oh, I don't want you to have an accent, or I don't want you to speak Spanish. So that generation raised their kids, which are now 30 years old or 30
Yeah,
something, to not speak Spanish because in that generation, maybe if you had an accent, if you were Latino, you were a little bit like, maybe bullied or maybe those sort of things, right? So a cool trend that I'm seeing in Texas, since we have so many Mexican Americans, is that I'm actually seeing a lot of people being proud, trying to actually learn Spanish,
yeah,
try to bring it back. And with that, of course, comes all of our Latin trends, all of our Latin cultures,
yeah,
which it doesn't only embrace Mexican, it's Puerto Rican, it's Cubano, it's Colombian, it's Venezuelan. There's a huge trend in the US. And again, let's go back to this, especially in Texas, because we have a very strong Latino
mm,
community that are now proud of their roots. The fact that we don't have to hide our accent, we can be actually proud of our accent because now there's more acceptance, and I think the music industry helped us a lot. Bad Bunny and all those things,
yeah,
made us also
yeah,
be again, it made Americans be more acceptable of Latino culture, and now Latino feel more empowered, and now they feel they can talk more, from their heritage. I think a big trend that I'm seeing in our state is that they are trying to recover that. You are seeing a lot of tenders, which I know they're actually, oh, I want to know what mazamorra is. I want to go back to my roots. You know what, Jesus? I might not speak Spanish as good as you, but
Mm,
I actually right now I want to discover what my grandma used to cook for us. I want to know about pozole. I want to know about these flavors that maybe they knew some poly, but they kind
mm,
of like put them on the side because of the whole thing about like, oh, I don't want to have an accent, whatever. So a very, very cool trend. There's a lot of acceptance or people being more embracing about their Latino culture. A lot of Latino people in our industry, and they are creating cocktails. They are bringing out flavors. They are bringing things that maybe they didn't care about it so much long time ago, but now they are. So it excites me a lot. That really, really excites me a lot because it's Mexican, it's Colombian, it's Puerto Rican, it's Venezuelan, it's Cuban, and it's a trend that I've been seeing. We're talking about Texas, but actually in other parts of the world,
yeah.
they're being more inclusive, which I'm very appreciative
Yeah,
of
and then,
that.
yeah, going
Yeah,
back to the old not necessarily the old ways, but the
yeah,
traditions are coming back for sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I had someone earlier that we were talking about how the trends that I agree with what he was noticing was the trends are going back to classics
Mm,
and solid classics like 3, 4 ingredient cocktails, but you're
yeah,
taking that one ingredient and modifying it enough to where it creates something that's really unique.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's definitely something that's is happening right now, which is good.
Simplicity.
We have
Yeah,
simplicity is key.
simplicity.
Yeah,
Yeah, simplicity is key.
sure.
Yeah,
And then the super juice movement and all the sustainability is all that stuff
yeah,
is still
yeah.
here to stay, and it's
We
kind of
should be doing more of that. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Going back a little bit to your bar history, because I forgot to ask a question on this one. Who taught you how to bartend, or how'd you learn how to bartend?
That's very
Y
interesting.
yeah,
I
yeah,
so my influence and who I would call maybe my mentors, they varied through time and through my different stages of bartending. Um, Maybe the first person that taught me how to make a drink was my brother. So my brother, he's been in the industry for way longer than me, maybe like 14 years. Bartending in Argentina, then he created like a juice bar in Venezuela, and then he moved to the States and he kept going as a bartender. He taught me, I think, my first ever cocktail, which was a mojito. Yeah, a mojito and I'll blank in a boa. Let's say that one.
okay,
That taught me how to shake. But then I was like, okay, now when I told you the story about the old fashioned, getting curious, I bought a book, I started reading. There was this guy called Jose Pereiro. He lives in Atlanta. And he, at the moment, he knew so, so, so much more than me. And he's a very dear friend from the same home city. Jose Pereiro, at the moment, he was a Santa Teresa rep. And then he was running a bunch of bars in Atlanta. Now he's running Mid City in Atlanta. He's an amazing
okay,
bartender and content creator.
yeah,
He thought he was my point of contact when I was like, how do I make a simple syrup? How do I make this infusion? So my early stages of bartending, he taught me, he was there. He taught me a lot. Then I just kept getting curious. And I remember I told you I started visiting bars.
mhm,
So at the moment I was living in Miami, and I remember I loved going to the Champagne bar in the Four Seasons
yeah,
in Miami.
mhm,
So at the moment that was Valentino Longo who was leading
mhm,
that program. So Valentino, he had just won Most Imaginative
yeah,
Bartender.
that was right, okay,
And runner up and also participating was Derek Stillman. So I remember Derek Stillman, I learned so much about him because he's also big in fermentation. For me, he's the professor of fermentation. He's so, so good. So I remember looking up to him a lot, and I remember going to his bar. At the moment, he was at the Sylvester.
ah, yes, yes,
And
yes,
yeah, and
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah,
he
okay,
moved to the Champagne bar to work with Valentino as well. But just seeing them work, I remember, let's say, Derek with two bar spoons steering cocktails. Wow.
mm,
Then I would see Valentino, with his flair, and the way he would make cocktails. And I remember he had the Essenza Negroni at the moment. So, Valentino, how do you make this? So they were also my influence, my
mm,
biggest industry influence. And then I have to be very honest. Then when I went to Mexico City, of course, Mexico City for me this was like 3 years ago. I was very impressed with the level and the people who influenced me the most or who I learned the most. And I will say Jajo. At the moment, he was a Limantur. Eric from Handshake. Brian from Hanky Panky. Adrian as well, he was over there.
Mm,
I love Jen Solis as
okay.
well, and Gina. So I would just sit at their bar and just watch them. And I would even like sometimes just record them, seeing their techniques, shaking, double shaking, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I swear to God, Patrick, I would then go to my house, replay their videos, and try to
Then,
mimic
yeah.
them,
Mm,
try to learn. So when you told me how did I learn, I learned my beginnings, of course, with my brother. He taught me a little bit, but then it was a lot of looking the way they do things,
yeah.
looking the bartenders that I admire, and then asking them questions. I
Mhm.
would go to the bar, sit at the bar. It's like, Valentino, why do you steer the cocktail for 15 seconds? Why do you shake that for 7 seconds? And then I would ask them, and then I would record them, and then try to have a better technique. So I kind of hustle my way
Yeah.
into learning how to do it, but
Yeah.
YouTube as well, maybe a little
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah,
at
I
some
definitely
point.
taught
Yeah.
myself, yeah,
But
yeah,
I think
yeah,
those were my biggest influences and the way that I actually learned how to bartend.
yeah,
Yeah, I see in them.
yeah, definitely, it's all about I ask a lot of questions too, so that's where I started, like,
Yeah,
asking questions with reps and starting to learn about
curiosity.
spirits, yeah,
Curiosity is the best tool to learn
yeah.
because, yeah.
Yeah, if you go back down, like, my Facebook and social medias, you'll see, like, some of the cocktails I started doing, and I'm like, "Yep, that's where I started, now we're here," but that's where
No,
everybody
yeah,
starts somewhere, right? So,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
cool, well, let's talk a little bit about Here Nor There, because
Yes,
I know
please.
that's where you kinda your home bar is right now.
Yes,
Actually, let's talk about Perfectionist, and then we'll talk
please.
about Here Nor There. So tell us a little bit about Patron Perfectionist.
Man,
How was that competition?
perfectionist
Yeah,
was a very good experience for me.
yeah, yeah,
So I'm coming from the corporate world. I'm
mm,
very structured person. I like to lay down my goals at the beginning of each year. In January or maybe in December, I already have my goals of what I want to achieve on the upcoming year and so on and so forth. 2 years ago or 1 year ago, I set up the goal, maybe a year and a half. I set up the goal of like I want to do at least two competitions a year,
okay,
two of the big ones.
yeah,
Either at 3 years ago, I think Bacardi Legacy was still on, maybe
mhm,
not. But I had in my mind, say, MIB, Bacardi Legacy, Patron Perfection is world class. Those are my top four companies. So I was like, I want to do a top one, and then I also want to do another one that is maybe not one of those like global ones. Huh? My first competition was Art of Italicus, and I learned so much from that. I got my
yeah, that
feedback
was
and
your
everything
first
like that.
one? Yeah,
That was my first
oh, that's okay,
competition. I made it to the national finals.
mhm,
So I made a top 10 and it was a great experience. Loiver won that competition, which is an amazing human being, beautiful human being. And I learned a lot from him and from the feedback that I got. The feedback, the experience that I got in that competition helped me translate it, helped me actually tweak a little my strategy of how I was going to approach my next competition, which was perfectionist.
mhm,
For me, perfection was very special because it was an agave competition, which I felt, very, very dear to
mhm,
the product, to the category. And to be honest, my goal was to win the US. I
mm,
was like, what it would be, how cool would it be if, so I'm an immigrant.
mm,
I immigrated to this beautiful country 10 years
mm,
ago. A country gave me a lot of opportunities.
yeah,
I became a citizen like 2 years ago, 2 years ago. And I was like, when you see the way I left Venezuela, I moved here to this country, and now I'm living here as a citizen. And the fact, I was like, imagine if I could represent this country in a competition.
yeah,
So that was amazing. So the fact that I really worked hard on that competition. There's a few people that I need to mention, which is Connor from our bar.
yeah, Mr. Connor,
Connor, he's one of my best friends. He really pushed me and coached me. And also Andreas Sanidiotis.
okay,
He used to be one of the barbarians from Lost and Found in Cyprus.
okay,
He moved to New York and then he started consulting for here or there.
okay,
Sunny, I've never met someone as technical and knowledgeable as him. So between Sunny and Connor, they were my biggest mentor, and I really lean on them
yep,
to help me become the best version that I could for this competition. When I won this, Patrick, man, I actually, there was a moment when everyone left and I was walking to our bar to celebrate. I was crying. I was in tears just
mm,
because it was so much work. There was so much desire to
Yeah.
really win a competition that I was very emotional. Mm, Global finals, global finals, just to be in the global scenario where you're against 17 bartenders, the best in the world. You're going against Dubai, against Philippines, against France, Italy, Spain, Dubai, against the best of the best. I was like, first for me it was a very wow moment. It's like, coming from my background, the effort that I put into it, my beginnings, and the way I learned, the people that had influenced my way of making cocktails, and to be on the stage was very, very cool.
Yeah.
And for me, I wanted to deliver. I feel the responsibility of delivering. Um, I have to be honest, I wanted to win. I really wanted to win. Nathan got that one, but I love Nate.
Mhm.
He's an amazing, beautiful human being. I
Yeah.
hate fuck the server because he was incredible at his
Mm.
performance. Um, I didn't get the win, but I learned a lot. It was 8 different judges. I was very close from the feedback that I got. I was very, very, very close
Mm.
to bring it home. But the feedback from the judges, it was 8 judges that they all gave me different perspective on things that I did amazingly and also things that I needed to do better.
Yeah.
Um, but just the fact of representing our country in a way, it was incredible. Really was a very incredible experience. I really did my best. I really,
Yeah.
really gave my best.
And the cocktail was great.
Yeah,
When I
yeah,
tried
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So awesome.
I would love to make you all of my cocktails one day for you
Yeah,
to
for sure.
try them. I would love that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm very proud of all of the cocktails that I made for the competition. Yeah.
That's very
But
nice.
yeah, it's one of the top competitions. So yeah, very, very proud to have represented our bar here or there, and
Yeah.
also of course myself
Yeah,
as a
for sure.
bartender.
Well, it's a good little segue now, so let's talk a little bit about here nor there. So
Yes.
tell us about this bar. I've been there, I know, but people watching and listening, yeah.
Yes. So here or there, it's a
Mm.
beautiful speakeasy bar. It seats like 55 people. It's reservations only. It's in the heart of Austin. It's in downtown next to a Jersey Hotel. And we've been open for 6 years. We opened here or there in June of 2018. At the beginning, it was like a very like a private members only type of bar, but I think we really moved out of that very quick. Now we just have a reservation system where we have our own app. You download the app, you
Yep.
make a reservation, you go in. All of our offering, it's only conceptual menus.
Mhm.
So we've done 5 conceptual menus along the way. And of course, we can make you any classic cocktail. We try to. We're also very nerd in our classic cocktails, but we're very proud of our concept menu. So, and that's our strong one. We do, of course, and we've been doing since the last like 6 years. Of course, you can expect your meal punches, your clarify, your first
Yeah.
fermented
Mm.
drinks, your infusions,
Yeah.
your fermented drinks, lacto fermented drinks. We when you go to here or there, we try to take you to a different experience of drinking. We want to really stand out from the drinking experience you can get at a regular bar.
Yeah.
Want to offer you a different experience. But even even when you download the app, you make the reservation and you go to the bar, you say, wow, this is like maybe so high end and stuff. We are really laid back. We are always playing hip hop. We play hip hop all the time. And our dress code is actually be you, just be yourself. We don't enforce a dress code at all. I think
Mm.
we'll never will. I think
Yeah.
there was one rule I remember we had in our, like, when you make a reservation, you get these rules. And it's like, if you're coming from a wedding or an event, please remove your tie or whatever. Like
Yeah.
we really want to be very, very laid back.
Yeah.
And for the last 2 years, or year and a half, Patrick, we started doing guest shifts programs. So where
Yeah, I've been
we
noticing that.
now are
Mhm.
like, we're inviting people from all
Mhm.
over the world to do guest shift at our bar. So
Yeah.
we've had a lot of amazing Mexican bartenders. We have Limantur, we had Zapote, we had Arca from Tulum, we had Coupet from
Mm.
London, we have Amara Bar from London. We just got Killer Whale from Phoenix. So we like to invite the people that we really think they're doing amazing things. Actually, we would like to invite more people to our bar, but
Yeah.
we try to do one guest shift a month just because of the logistics, and also it's costly. There's
Yeah.
something that we finance as well.
Yeah.
And also we have to partner with brands to be able to make
Right.
this happen. It's a lot of
Mhm.
money to pay their air travels, their hotels, and everything. But we implemented the whole guest shift like a year and a half ago. We've been traveling more. I'm talking about here and there and a little bit what I do. One, I think my biggest role is also doing the whole PR for the bar. So that's why you see me traveling all over the
Yeah, yeah,
world
yeah,
and
yeah.
doing gestures because I'm like with the flag of hero there, trying to
Yeah.
bring the flag of hero there everywhere. It's like, hey, this is what we're doing in Austin, in Texas, the little corner of the world, bringing our cocktails, bringing our experience. So that's one of my main roles, as well as bartending, of
Yeah,
course, in the
sure.
bar.
So let's talk a little bit more of these concepting menus because
Yeah,
I've seen 3 of them now. I think
nice.
Colors was probably my favorite. I
Colors
haven't
was so
it
cool.
was a cool menu.
Very cool. Yeah.
And the one you had most recently, which has what was it called? The book,
Moments in time.
Moments in Time.
And Moments in
Yeah.
Time was
Yeah.
cool, and it
Yeah.
was very special because it was the first one that got nominated to Best Cocktail Menu in the 50 Best North
Oh,
America.
dope. Okay. Okay.
So for us to have been acknowledged of such a team effort to
Mhm.
create a cocktail menu, and suddenly when we received the email, I remember when we received the email,
Mm,
you've been nominated to 50 Best for the best cocktail menu. We're like, wow,
mm,
that was very cool. So Moments in Time was our last menu. Again, very special. Also because not only because of the nomination, but we for that menu we work with a lot of local artists.
mhm,
We're doing like we had some poetry
mm,
included. We had some um like paintings or drawings in the menu that were made by Texans. So it was a very cool menu that brought you to different moments or times in your life
yeah.
that were also draw and with some poetry from local people from
Mm.
Texas. This menu that we just launched, I recently launched it 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's new,
It's
right?
called
Mhm,
Odyssey.
mm,
And Odyssey, it's for us, it's a journey. Odyssey is a journey, it's a travel, through space time techniques. So we try to actually use ingredients and techniques that were even forgotten ingredients, forgotten um, uh, techniques. I like to highlight one that is called a Posca wine. And a Posca wine, we use it in our Army Vermouth.
mm,
And Posca is like a wine that back in the day they used to with like a rotten or forgotten wine. They would like infuse it with different herbs to try to make something that would be like kind of taste,
yeah.
and they would call it Posca wine. So now we're making our own Posca wine to create a cocktail. Then we have some things that are using with like lacto fermented. So we're talking sustainability and use of what ingredients. So we're using that. That drink is being used for a drink called salt urine, where back in the day, salt was almost a currency at some point.
Mm,
Salt was
mm,
a so we're trying to bring that appreciation for the ingredients and highlight them in different ways. So like the fermentation, salt, everything. So that's one of the cocktails. Then we have a cocktail that is inspired on a soda that
mhm.
was called Moxie, where the
Oh, yeah.
base is
Mhm,
old school, very,
mhm,
very old
mhm,
school. And that soda used to use
mhm,
ginseng root as
mhm.
one of the main ingredients. So we created our own Moxie soda
Okay.
called, so we Odyssey, this journey through time, through flavors, ingredients, giving us the opportunity to re-showcase our customers flavors that were forgotten or even techniques. We have one that's called the Three Sisters, which is inspired on the milpa, with the way that squash, corn, and beans.
Mhm,
We created a cocktail that is using those three, but Three Sister technique it's an ancient technique
mhm,
of agriculture. So
mm,
inspired all this, we created this new menu, and that's why for us Odyssey, it's a whole journey. It's a
mhm.
whole journey. It's a whole adventure. So hopefully you'll be able to try it
Yeah.
soon. We're very, very proud. It was a very huge team collaboration
Yeah.
to make this menu. Uh, that I think almost everyone in the bar collaborated to make a cocktail.
Okay.
So very, very proud
That's awesome.
of the end. Yeah.
And it takes you do this for a full year, right? The
Yeah,
menus
we
run
actually now every 6 to 8 months we're trying to change
oh,
the menu.
oh, wow, that's gonna be
Yeah,
okay.
a little more ambitious.
Yes.
We used to do a year, especially when we had minimalism. Then when we had colors, we ran colors for a bit. Because also pandemic was kind of in the middle,
Yeah, yeah.
but I think 6 to 8 months now
Okay.
it's gonna be our goal. We have a new director of hospitality called Ian Griffith. Uh, Amazing, he's a legend in the industry. He was part of the Silver Lion and Dandelion, all that group
Yeah.
with Mr. Ryan. So now, after he moved to New York, he was contacted by our investor, and now he's our director of operations. The fact that we have Ian Griffith with us on our team, he's
Yeah.
pushing us a lot
Very
to
nice.
make and create amazing drinks and
Yeah.
flavors. So, yeah, hopefully every 6 to 8 months, we're not going to change the
That'll
menu.
be
But
awesome. That'll be awesome. Cool. Well, there's a little bit about here nor there. If you're in Austin, be sure and check them out.
Please.
Yeah. But let's talk a little bit more about social media
Yes.
because I know you have a pretty big following.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to, say, a bartender who's trying to grow their online presence? How did you get from
Yeah.
10 followers to the amount you have now?
5,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say,
Mm,
so I think you have to do social media with a purpose, right? Like you, and also what do you want to use social media for?
mm,
For me, it's a marketing platform. I always tell there's a few masterclasses that I given that I say that so I use social media as a marketing platform, and for me, my profile on Instagram,
mm,
let's say Instagram, it's for me, it's like my resume. I treat it as my resume. It's like if you want to know who Jesus Verde is, you go follow him, and you can very easily see, oh, he's been guest bartending in all these different places in the world. Oh, he's giving masterclass in different places of the world. Oh, he's a bartender here or there. Oh, he's actually, and there's a real him making a cocktail at here or there, so I can actually see his technique. So I use marketing as a platform to be able to showcase the strengths that I want to showcase that actually hopefully will bring me more opportunities to grow and that I can then monetize. At the end, we all
mm,
want to kind of monetize all these
mm,
different platforms and all these different things. Um, the advice that I would give is first, be very intentional in what you want to do. If your goal is to promote your skills, try to put them out there. Try to put them on there. Try to make little videos of you doing certain techniques. Make sure you are knowledgeable, you're creative. Like try to showcase the things that you think are lacking, the things that make you special. Also study the rules of social media because Instagram and all these different platforms they have all these algorithms and stuff. If you want to push video, maybe don't do a post, do a reel because reel gets more whatever.
mm.
Tag more people or don't post 3 posts or 4 posts in the same day
Yep.
because Instagram. So of course I would say first learn all the rules
Yeah.
and then just try to be you because don't try to be a copycat. Try to really if you're in the industry and you think you have something to offer, highlight that.
Yeah.
Be proud of who you are, being wherever you are. I'm Latino, so I never hide my accent,
Mm,
and I'm very proud of where I come from. If you go to my profile, you'll see me grabbing a flag. Um, but for me, it's if your goal is to bring more followers, also make the effort of visiting venues, visiting places, visiting bartenders,
yeah.
connect with people. Try that to be organic. Network a lot, meet a lot of people. Always remember to ask them, hey, how can I follow you on Instagram so you can get a follow back? Maybe that's the way you'll get a bigger following. But at the end, it's how interesting are you? What are you offering? If what you're doing and offering it's as good as you think it is, uh, followers will come by itself. You really don't need to try to pay for more
Yeah.
followers. Actually, one recommendation I would give it's try to use quality pictures.
Mhm.
Quality pictures. If you're able to get your hands on a good camera, that of course will help.
Yeah.
If you have a photographer friend that can take you, of course, those posts that have like a better resolution and a
Mm.
better quality, they'll get more.
Yeah.
They'll be pushed more. So but again, we go back to learn the rules about social media if that's what you really want.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you making some
Thank you.
time. Tails, I know you're getting ready to run into a pop-up
Yeah,
here in a minute,
yeah,
so
yeah. It's we'll be in 1 hour. I'll be making drinks, which I'm
yeah.
very excited. The cocktails are going to be delicious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just want to say thank you, Patrick, for inviting me.
Yeah.
I was very happy and excited when you invited me,
Yeah.
just because for different reasons. When we connected, I got to know who you were, what you were doing, and I follow you. I admire what you're doing.
Yeah.
I always give you kudos because you're a hustler as well.
Mm.
You hustle with your business. You are where you need to be. but you're also very attentive to detail. If you're gonna do, I feel like you're the type of people that if you're gonna do something, you do it well,
Mhm.
which I identify with that. And
Yeah.
people might not see it, but you see the quality of cameras and everything.
Mhm.
It's not a, you just, you just don't, you don't want to do things halfway. If you do something, you're gonna do it
Yeah.
well. So I'm
Absolutely.
very humble and happy and grateful to have been invited to your podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
And yeah, let's keep creating things. Let's promote people that are doing great things.
Yeah.
Let's keep doing things, great things for this industry.
Yeah.
That's
For
all I
sure.
would
That's
say.
that's what we're
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
do. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Thank you for being
Thank you
part.
so
Yeah.
much.
You're welcome. And where can people follow you? What are your IG handles and stuff?
So
Mm.
you can follow me
Yeah.
at Jesus Verde at Jesus Verde
Yeah.
on Instagram. That's actually the only real social media that I do. I try
Okay.
to do TikTok. It's too much.
Okay.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
actually couldn't get a handle of it.
Yeah.
Facebook, I didn't really, yeah, I didn't keep with it.
Okay.
Instagram is the one that I do. And actually, I'm a huge nerd. If you ever have a question, DM me. I answer to every DM that I get. If I can connect you with someone or if I can help you with something,
Yes.
if my experience, let's say doing competitions or at the bar or guest bartending or whatever can help you, I would love, I am where I always said I am where I am because a lot of people help me. So I never say no to anyone that needs help.
Yeah.
Please DM me if you want to connect. It'll be my huge pleasure.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Mm,
And thank you so much.
thank you.
Yeah. And thanks for joining. Check us out on the next episode. And today's pointer is hospitality is key.
Hospitality is key. I love that.
Cheers, y'all.